Okay, good evening, guys. I think that now you can hear me, right? Roger that. Okay, welcome to this. I'm gonna just appreciate if everybody mutes its mics so I don't have to mute it here directly. And let's start. Okay. To begin with, this was a surprise, eh? Moderna admitted to the S&Ps. I had no clue, but hope you kept someone at least. Those 270 calls are gonna be epic. Okay, so the topic for today, guys, is what I do in. We're gonna have a Q&A sessions a little bit later. So if you have any other thing that you would like to discuss, don't you worry, you'll have time to question anything that you might need. But the idea is, how do I prepare overnight, and how do I know what tickers are hot during the day? And I think that that is also a very important part of the trading career. Not only risk management, of course, that is the foundation, but of course, you are what you trade, no? At the end of the day. So to begin with, the most important part that I rely on during the day trading is that you have to be already prepared in terms of having your alert set. There are a lot of tickets, a lot of action during the day, and it's impossible to stay on everyone. But at least you have to have your common watch list in the different sectors that we have. And as you can see, is sometimes we trade some unknown tickers, but most of the time we stick more or less with the same, right? So that is also important for you to get familiar with some tickets so you know how they behave. Usually most of the underlines and the story that you see in their graphs repeat itself in the future. So it's also good to get acquainted with some tickers and you know how they react when certain patterns are forming in the day, or certain amounts of volume are accumulated during the day. You know what happens, so because of the experience that you have had in the past. And that the only way to learn that is with time, right? Time and consistency. But what I do, I have different sources during where I prepare my alerts. As you all know, I have my main, and I'm gonna put it. Tell me if you can see here that the graph that we already know. Okay. So what I do is I have my same. You can see my TOS graph, right, with my 3 time frames, correct? Just somebody just confirmed to me in the chat, so I know that you're seeing the same thing that I'm watching. No? No, okay, the UTF side. Okay. So I'm gonna switch. Okay, I'll anyway, you know my graph, but let me go to details. What I do first, you have to create a a set of watch list. So to begin with, guys, it's very important for you to have, and let me put it here so I can probably share it in the double screen here. I'm gonna change this so we can have what you have seen and the other part that I have here, okay? So now you can see both, right? And the idea is to have a watch list already prepared. So to begin with, it's very important for you to have a main watch list of the different sectors and industries. And for that, as an example, I can tell you that I have a main watch list that is called sectors ETFs, where I have the main ETF that groups several sectors. For example, I have the XLF, the XLI, XLE, all the different sectors that compound the S&P 500. And once I have that specific list, let me see what I can just. Okay, my TOS went crazy. Let me just detach. Okay. So I have, can you see here this watch list? And what I have here in my watch list is, for example, my ETFs. Where is it? Personal, I'm blind today. It's been a lot of watch floats. Goods, right? Okay, sector ETFs. So here they are. Sorry, guys. So what I have here, and I suggest you can see them right now. You can see both the watch list and what I use this page for. You can go to ETF.com because this helps you a lot to know what is everything about. For example, XLU. If you go to XLU, which is the utilities, here is the utilities sector. You look here and you can see all the tickers that compound this ETF. But the most important part is that you look for the top 10 holdings. You can see them all here, of course, but you just need the first 10 because usually the first 10 are 50 or 50+% of the ETF. So in this case, in the XLU, if you have these 10 tickers, you already have the weighting that 63.5% of the ticker. So you have with those 10, and usually those first 10s are the ones who are more have more volume and are more liquid, and all of them have options. So what I do, for example, I go also and create a new, and we can do it here, a new watch list that I'm gonna call utilities XLU. And what I start doing is, okay, next it's NE, sorry. And you put the first 10 of them. So you already have Duke Energy, Southern Company. And if you don't know the ticker, you can go here and see it, and it tells you what the ticker is. You go back. So this ETF.com site is super helpful to know all the ETFs of the S&P 500. And what we're gonna do this very quick so we can have an example of how I do it. Actually, this one I don't have it because, as you know, we don't trade a lot of utilities, but now are gonna be interesting because every time that the market panics, utilities is the defensive sector. So when utilities are bought, is because people are moving from technology and other more aggressive sectors to utilities. Since they don't move much, they don't move much, but they have very good dividends, and that is the interesting thing about these stocks of utilities. So they provide good dividends quarterly, and that's what people goes to as a defensive strategy when the markets start to eventually, when everything goes to hell. I mean, nobody gets saved, right? Even utilities go down, but you start to see, for example, utilities today were one of the sectors that were the highest of the day, the more active one, and it's because all the flows and the big monies are starting to rotate to that. So I'm gonna finish very quick this, so I don't want to do it. I'm gonna do it this one by one so you can see how do I do it, but you have to do your homework in doing all this that I'm doing here with each sector or every industry that you're interested in, that you like to trade. And I'll give you all some examples, the ones that I have right now, but right now that I'm working here with you, since I didn't have this one, because we were not very active using it, but probably we might need it in the next days. So I have them here, the first, so I have my utilities. So I already have my two watch lists here. Where is the other one? By the way, here's the other one, and this one is gonna continue being the ETFs. Well, where is it? Jesus Christ. Still ETF, sector ETFs. No, personal sector ETFs. Okay, so during the day, what you do is, okay, you organize all your ETFs or your sectors from the high to the low, and the top three that are higher are the ones who are most active or doing or growing the most during the day. So always what you have to trade is what it's hot during the day, right? So in this case, for example, XLU, we see that is one of the two that has the highest percentage of the movement during the day. You already know, and you already have your sub list of XLU. You do the same, and then you go to an individual ticket. Okay, let's see. and you just look for it. I mean, I don't know what I don't know why my toes is so stupid today, but it's not looking better anyway. So I link my watch list to my graph, and I can go very quickly. Imagine that you can see the graphs here, but I don't know what is happening with my TOS today. But with this, you can go very quickly, and I can see I link I link the graph, I link an option chain, and you can do quickly and see at the same time, you are seeing your watch list, what is hot, then you see the graph to see if it has a pattern that is interesting to go trade it, and look for your levels, and then you can determine what strike and expiration you're gonna take. So you have all these three on one screen. That is very important. And the idea is to be most of the day just looking for opportunities when the market is not very active, or when you're not really sure what you wanna trade. It's a good way to find some of the tickers, right? So that is one way that I do it. There are many, of course. For example, today, and you can see I have the XLU, the Chinese, the gold, silver, financials, the EM, that are most of them are Chinese, but there are how they call it, all the foreign companies, IBV, which is biotechnology, XLI, XLB, XME, Jets. Here you have all the airlines. So feel free to, I can copy this, and I'm gonna copy this and share it with you in the VIP room. So you can see the main sectors that I have, and some of the subsectors. And I have, for example, of the semiconductors. So for each of these, you have to do a list based on your, and you can help yourself with this one. So you look for each of them and see, for example, if you don't know what KRE is, okay, so these are the regional banks, right? All the small financials that are within the, you go here to the ETF.com, and in a screener is where you look for it. So for example, KRE is all the regional banks, right? XLU, you already know. For example, I don't know, emerging markets, what other you might not be acquainted with. For example, this one, WCLD, it's all the application software companies. So you can, again, look for them, and you can see what is, you have your sub list of Box, Dropbox, Adobe, Domo, all the ones that we already know, right? I use Webull, but Gestio is better. No, but you can do the same on Webull. I mean, I do have a small account on Webull. I know how to use that application, and it also has I like actually the application is very nice. So you can have very nice watch. The important thing is that you have some watch lists available during the day, and your main watch list is going to be your sectors, because you're going to have open all of them. You're just going to go and see which three are the highest in percentage base, or the lowest, depending on how the market is doing. You can include here, of course, SPY, Qs, and the Russell. I don't have it here, but you can do it. And you can also include a watch list of the 10 main stocks of the SPY, the Russell, and the QQQs, so you can trade them as well. So this is a good way to find. Another good way to find during the day, you can take this Finviz. Most of you are familiar with it. And if you want to locate immediately, it has this application here in the home. This is free. I don't even have the subscription. This is the free part. You can have a lot of advertisement, of course, because there's no free lunch. But you have here the heat map that is very good, because you can easily see, okay, for example, today that I was just watching and I brought UNA because I went here to the healthcare. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, but it for the fucking and then for example UNH, you go to it give you a nice summary here. I mean, you already have healthcare and you have already in order all the not in order, but you can see which one is hot. In this case, UNH and HUM, and then you can look and look at it and see. But you very quickly can see which sector is green or red or. So this is a very nice tool that you can have it. It's free as well, and very quickly you can go check it. And even though if you wanna go and see directly the graph there, you can see them as well. And also it has a very nice screener. For example, I have this one to look for the high interest, for example, FUV that we played today. You can do whatever you, I mean, you just, this is a screener that I made for the short interest that is price under $20. The float has to be over 20%, have to be optionable, over 1 million, under 50 million float, and brings you the list that you have. So what you look for is the highest that has the percentage of short interest. And also the ratio is very important. This short ratio is how many days are gonna take for the shorts to cover the, in case of a short gamma squeeze, all right? So what you're looking for is a short ratio of 5 or more. So those are the ones that are interested. The first one is the float. So you look for the higher, but over 5 ratio. So this one, FUV. You can see it. And so that's a good way also to see, and you can do what, I mean, this screener is fantastic and you can put whatever you want here. And it's very easy to filter and everything. So Finviz is an excellent tool that you can use. I suggest you to do that. Okay, so once that another, of course, guys, Twitter, right? Twitter, I have my favorite people who I follow. I don't even sometimes have to find the holy grail. A lot of people, what I do is I go to Twitter and I look what are they saying, and Neo, Amazon Shop. Okay, so what I do, very simple. Neo, okay, for tomorrow, Neo. And what I do is I just go and put an alert on the, as you can see, I love to play previous day high breaks. So what I just do is this. I go to Neo. I know that it has some chatter on Twitter, right? So what I just do is take here, look for the high of the day, and set an alert for tomorrow, right? Or for whatever it triggers. I put it on the ask to notify me with a ring. I know when there is a ring, I have an alert. And then you have Chop, for example, and then I do the same. So also I use a lot of Twitter of what is making noise and Twitter and Activision. So, and that's the way, and I do this every night, and I make sure that at least I have, I don't know how many tickets. So at the end of the day, if you see charts, hold on. I have here, I'm gonna share you this. At the end of the day, if you do that every night, after 10, 15 days, you're gonna end up having, I don't know how many alerts set, because not all of them are gonna trigger the next day. And you already have an inventory of alerts that are gonna be available to you. And when they trigger, you just look at the graph very quick. You already have your levels and everything, and you determine what to take. So any questions so far from here? I don't know if I've been clear. Questions? Anyone to follow on Twitter? Oof, yes. My favorite one, and one of the people's, I mean, also Theotrade, of course, I follow Theotrade, but I follow it because I'm a member and I love it, and it's one of my. They don't give you a lot of tickers, but they have a very nice, and I share it on my Twitter every night. Most of every night, they have a very nice reports every day. But it's very simple. Let me just put this here. This is the people that Rifster that everybody knows. I have Rifster, but I don't really, I don't follow a lot of his plays, but he's a smart guy. I mean, but because he plays a lot of small, and he plays a lot of stocks and not too many options sometimes. I'll answer you what got my attention. What else? I use, I mean, Sam Carson, we already have it. Spartan, this is one of my favorites. I am a member, not at this time, but I'm used to be a member of this community. I have taken a lot of courses from him. He's a beast. He's one of the best intraday traders that I met. He's very, very good. So this one is 100% recommendable. Stock Hunter. I also was part of this community. This guy is also very good. Stock Hunter 89. This guy is very good. Another one that is super cool to follow is, let me see, Limitless Trading. He has sometimes nice charts. This one is fantastic. I used to have this application, but it's expensive. It's like $190, and it grabs you all the algos, the flow. This is fantastic. Official Flow Trade, but they have very nice comments the day before. Chica, of course, but you already know it. What else? What else I have here? Unusual Whales, you already have it. This guy is very good, this guy. Panda Options also gives you very nice tickers every night. This guy is also very smart. Young guy, very, very smart. David Jokum. What other? This one is a prick. I don't like him. This one also, Stock Chart Art, is a good one. So I have plenty, but I usually, Spartan is for me, if my top 3, Spartan, Stock Hunter, and this one. And this is my third one, Elite Option Trader. Those are my top 3. What I found about coming back to your question about NVIDIA, I also have this indicator here that, Jesus Christ, where is it? Let me bring this chart here. Where is it? Oh, forget about it. Where is it? I show you this indicator that I use a lot. Let me detach it. That shows you when some stocks are starting to get here. This indicator is very good. The volume sum oscillator, when this one comes down below 0, and the ADX, the ADX indicator also, what it measures is the trend over 30. It's that it has a strong trend, that is not choppy. But this one would tell you that it's changing momentum when stocks are crossing the 0 line on this oscillator, volume sum oscillator, is that institutionals are starting to buy this stock. So for the first, and I also have the EMA, the 50 EMA on the daily. And as you see, I saw a divergence here, price spiking and momentum declining. This is a divergence. When you have this type of divergence, the thing is that you really have to catch, because you start having the divergence here. So you just wait for the 0 line to be crossed, which was today, and we cut this one. So that was the one, and of course, I mean, we've been following NVIDIA all these days, and we saw this, right? So eventually, it got very extended at the same time on the daily. So if you see it here, NVIDIA, it was already, it was not extended today, but it started to, if you see on the daily, what it happened is that finally today it crossed on my daily. Yesterday it closed below the 13 EMA, so the trend changed immediately. So the same thing that we do intraday, guys, with the 10-minute, you also have to follow after hours. In after hours, I focus more on the daily and the hourly. I don't see the 10-minute because I'm not intraday trading. So I saw this one as well. That 13 EMA close and broke. When I play previous day high breakout, it doesn't have to be from yesterday. It can be like a week. There's, how can I tell you? No, the answer is no. Previous days are strongest, and of course, the more because previous day is when you are breaking the range from the previous day. Sometimes you have, what you can do is also another very good break is the weekly. You also can have the levels. I don't use it much, but you can see also where the previous weekly candle is, and when it breaks weekly, is even the higher the time frame, the stronger the resistance and supports are, guys. So a weekly break is gonna be, and what I mean with the stronger, that is gonna be more difficult to break, and it's gonna be strong to hold. But when you break a weekly level, the continuation is gonna last longer than a daily, than an hour, and than a 10-minute, right? A weekly break lasts weeks. A daily break lasts days. An hourly break lasts sometimes hours. The 10-minute break lasts 20, 30, 40, 1 hour. So everything and so on. So that is the importance of the different time frames and the breaks that you play. I don't know if that makes sense. Is what I saw on yes, the SPY is the same. For example, I'm always following, you see, you have seen me a lot, the 4 hours. and the daily on my S&Ps. But if we go to the weekly, what do we have here? And let's do it. Of course, this is this week, but this level here is the weeklies, right? So when we break 42.78, and God knows what is going to happen. But anyway, this week, this is the close and the low. It's not the low and the high of the week, but it's also the range when last week all the everything closed and open, right? So when we break this one, and that's what I have this line here. Remember that I told you if this square is more this square was more related to the range that we have had the previous 2 weeks. But yes, is what you see. And of course, also what I tend to look at it in overnight is the MACD and the RSI. I do take care of those indicators, but only overnight. So what I'm starting to see here in the 4 hours on the S&Ps, so you can see a divergence already making. Here was a divergence. I mean, we have a high and a higher high with lower high on the RSI. So that it start to determine some various divergence. The MACD already crossed since 1 o'clock, May 13, crossed down. It's about to cross the zero line. Momentum is, I mean, the momentum is starting to grow on the downside. So that is what you start to see. Now I have this channel also that I grab. Usually I channel on the 1 hour. And this channel, what it's telling me is the trends, right? The trend already started to change here. So we are not following this channel. And that's what and also the gamma levels that I think